What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Talking Halos. I'm your host today, Jared Timms, and I am joined alongside my co-host, my partner in crime, Nate Green. Nate, how are you doing? That's all you got. You're just gonna laugh at this.
Yeah, you get swept by Oakland. There's no words.
That's an absolute freaking embarrassment. That's horrible, man. Like again, I'll say this all year. I'll say this from a coaching standpoint. I'll say this from a fan standpoint. Right? I won't get mad. I don't get mad. I don't get upset. I get disappointed when you lose. When you actually lose games, right? Like I don't get upset.
You can't actually lose to Oakland, though.
You can't lose like this. You can't get swept by Oakland. The second time they've swept a team all year. They have 42 wins. 5 of them have come against the Angels now. Like this is that cannot happen, right? I mean, we're at this point of the year and the Angels are out of the playoff race and everything like that. As an Angels fan, somebody who covers Angels, you still want to see the Angels win. You still want to see teams win at the end of the day. And congrats to Oakland. Like Oakland fans are happy right now. Like that's just a damn.
I don't know if they are. They might have just lost the number 1 pick.
Well, exactly. I guess maybe they probably aren't. Like they were probably hoping the Angels would come in and sweep them, and we'd have a lot more fun stuff to talk about for sure. But yeah, what an absolute freaking embarrassment, man. This is a joke. Absolute joke of at the moment and moving forward. I mean, we have some fun stuff to talk about too, but joke of an organization, joke of a team right now. Laughing stock of sports, not even the baseball, laughing stock of sports. Like I can't think of a team, I can't think of an organization that is more like, oh wow, like it's an embarrassment. I can't actually think of it. Jets probably, yeah. Not even the Cowboys. Like I used to compare the Angels to the Cowboys, where it was like,
no, because they at least make the playoffs.
Yeah, at least the Cowboys like go out there and like I know Jared Jones is part of it, part of everything there. But at least like wants to win, wants to try to win. Yes, it's about money for Jerry Jones because he's the owner, but also like he cares and wants to put the best team out on the field at all times, and that's like what I mean, it's like
he's won a Super Bowl too. Like it's not like he hasn't won anything before.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
he was gifted a really good team, but yeah. So the Jets would be the one team that I would say is more embarrassing.
Jets, maybe the Cleveland Browns.
No, they've made the playoffs.
Can we go back like a couple years? Cleveland Browns a couple years ago. Maybe not now.
I guess, but
just absolutely brutal. I don't want to like make this podcast about that because we've complained, not really complained, but we voiced our opinion past couple episodes, and I don't think we will at this point. But just wanted to kind of start that off and just an absolute embarrassment. Like it's a joke that can't happen. No matter what point you are like. I guess I'm kind of excited because it helps the Angels, with the draft position a little bit there.
But we all know that they can't get a good pick.
Yeah, it's gonna be. It's just I don't know, man. It's brutal. Absolutely brutal. I don't want to talk about the series at all. Like, there's nothing good that came from it. One good thing that we'll actually talk about. But before we get to that good thing, guys, just want to thank you all so much for listening to this podcast. Go ahead and follow us on our social media, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Go ahead and shoot us any messages you guys want. If you have any questions, by the way, shout out to I don't know who it was. Somebody left a comment. Gonna work on getting Andrew Velasquez and Tucker Davidson on the podcast for Nate. Don't know if I'm gonna
we can't get Tucker Davidson. He's not part of the org anymore.
I'm gonna try to get those guys. I can't even not. I'm sorry. Gonna try to get Andrew Velasquez for you, Nate, and that one commenter, but I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get that there for you, Nate. So you can talk with Andrew if you do want to. But again, thank you for listening and watching. Go ahead and subscribe if you're watching us here on YouTube. Leave a comment in the comment down below. Just let us know how you're feeling, man. It's a tough time being Angels fan. It's not even like I'm not even like disappointed here at this. I'm like just frustrating. It's an embarrassment. Like I makes you not want to wear Angel stuff. Like that's where you're at. Like if you're losing, and you're a bad team, that's fine. Like you can wear Angel stuff, but when you're losing like this and it's just an embarrassment, like you don't even want to wear Angel stuff. You don't even want to support the team, represent the team. So we appreciate you guys hanging in there with us here at Talking Halos. Again, during this off season, we'll have a lot of interviews, a lot of fun guests, fun fun people coming on and talking some Angels baseball, just baseball in general with us as well. So with that being said, good news, Nate. Kyren Paris, I think we called it on this podcast. We might have known something, to be fair, which is why we said,
not at the time. I think we got the text message right after we got off.
yeah,
But yeah,
yeah, I think it was right
it
after.
was pretty close.
But still, all signs pointed to Kyren Paris being called up to the Angels. He is. Kid looks good. Set expectations up front. I like to set expectations with any prospect because a lot of people do get hyped with prospects. First off, Kyren, great kid, great family. Absolutely love everything about him. Talked with him a bunch on the side, and I'm extremely excited. Friend of the show too. We have a interview with him. If you guys go back and check, it's probably actually
long way back.
Yeah, a long way back. It's not on YouTube, but it'll be on if you're listening to the podcast, Apple or talkinghalos.com. You can check it out there for sure. We have an interview with Kyren. But great kid. Set expectations though. He's gonna swing and miss a lot. Let's be fair there. He hasn't done it yet in these first 3 games, but he's gonna swing and miss. He's gonna swing and miss a little bit for sure. I think he's gonna strike out, 30% of the time, which is tough, but it's gonna happen. There's going to be a little bit of power there, more of a gap-to-gap power swing. If he stays up the middle, he's good. If he starts pulling the ball, actually had this conversation with one of the friends. If he starts trying to pull the ball, that's when it gets a little bit rough. When he stays up the middle, stays short, and uses the big field, that's when he has a lot of his success. That's when he doesn't swing and miss a lot. And if he does that, he'll be perfectly fine. He's got a great eye at the plate, not Nolan Shanwell great, but he's got a great eye at the plate, and he's going to be able to get on base for you. Defensively, I know he's played shortstop. I don't know if he sticks at short. I think he's more of a platoon guy.
Great there.
He does look really good, actually. I'm not gonna lie. But when I've seen him in the minors, it was like, I don't know if he sticks there at short. But I think he's a guy that, can play second, can play short, can play third. A nice utility guy, down the road when you have, Zach Neto, at short, and hopefully Rendon playing third, and maybe he is the everyday second baseman. But yeah, I'm excited for him. He's excited there. The whole family's excited. Great to see him get his first hit there. Nate, I know he's your favorite prospect. Yeah. So you can talk about him a little bit.
It was just exciting to see him in the bigs,
Yeah.
Working some counts, which has been really cool to see. Like it's been fun to see him take those pitches like half ball off the plate and things like that, not trying to get too big. I think that's one thing you look for when you get a guy like this who has the pop and he's coming home to make his debut, kind of wants to show out in front of everyone. And instead of just going out there and, let me just try and hit 3 tanks or whatever, like he did a really good job of working counts. He got on base however he could, like hit by pitch, air, like he's putting them all in play, which is something that I think you and I had talked about, was like, well, if he doesn't strike out 30% of the time, he's going to be a really, really good player. But
I still think
he struck out. Obviously, he struck out twice today, but we've seen it. Like he's done a really good job so far. He's played a really good shortstop for this series, which is not an easy series. But I thought he's done really good so far, and I think this was a perfect time to get him in, like right before they come back home. Just give him a chance to get his feet wet in Oakland, which is like, not a hostile environment like an Atlanta or a Dodgers or something like that. So I'm excited to see him. This is what I've been wanting for a while, just to see guys go and play for all of September and find out, are they a part of the future or are they not? And we haven't really done that. We've called some of these type of guys up, and we've kind of been like, oh, so you're going to get 12 ABs. And it's like, so you call them up for an entire month to get 12 ABs? How do we even know if the guy's any good? It's like, well, he's gonna come back in spring, and we'll probably have 3 guys in front of him. It's like, okay, so then why did we waste a 40-minute spot? Like all these type of things. So I think it's good that we're finally getting to see him play, and I think there's something there. I think there's a possibility he turns into an everyday guy.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Great to see him. Great to see him on. Again, covered him since he's gotten drafted, so I'm extremely excited to see what he can do at home. You mentioned a couple things defensively. Actually, really tough spot to make your debut, especially at shortstop in Oakland.
A lot of ground.
That's first off, a lot of ground to cover. Second off, like I can only imagine playing shortstop at Oakland and seeing how far it is back. Depth perception wise, it's got to be a little bit weird there for sure.
Quiet too, really
Right,
quiet.
yeah, probably pretty quiet to play. Well, I mean, not because there's no fans, but because they're so far away too. It's got to be a little bit tough. That place used to actually be popping. Like no matter how many, you could get 20 fans there, and they used to be one of the, honestly, like one of the better fan bases in baseball. Like we all used to give them a bunch of shit for being annoying, but like really good fan base there, to be honest. So yeah, but you know, congrats to Kyren. One quick thing I do want to touch on is you look at the last two guys that the Angels have brought up. Yes, they did not really develop that they didn't develop Nolan Shanwell, but really, really good eye at the plate, right? Look at Kyren Paris, maybe not as good of an eye, but you mentioned it, really good eye. You know, he was walking 17% of the time down the minors, down in Double-A. You saw him taking, you know, really close
4
pitches.
free bases so far in the bigs. Three walks and a hit by pitch, and in 7 ABs, and was at 11 plate appearances. So he's getting on. Like he's doing his job, trying to get on base.
Yeah, and it makes me wonder like about the approach in the minors. We've talked about this a lot in the past, a lot of off the record, but I think we brought it on the record here a couple times in Talking Halos, and for a while it just seemed like a lot of guys. I know everybody develops a little bit differently, but there have been a lot of guys that were kind of free swinging, like not very good on the fastball. Like even guys like Errol Vera, in a sense, who we thought were, you know, really, really good. Denzer Guzman, who just couldn't catch up to the fastball very well. We're kind of, I feel like we're seeing a little bit of a shift in a lot of the better prospects for the Angels in taking pitches. One guy that comes to mind in particular is Adrian Placencia, a guy who's really worked counts a lot better this year. Real good eye at the plate. Kyren Paris working a lot more counts deep. So I'm
Even Neto was kind of that guy too.
Neto,
like Neto's kind of that guy. Yeah, it's interesting to think about with what they do. You do have but you have a lot of swing and miss. Like it really does feel like they're trying to
three true outcomes.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Like it's very Oakland A's-esque of 2002, 2005 of like, we don't really care how you play defensively. We really don't care, you know, what your average is. All we care about is, do you hit the ball out of the yard, and do you hit the ball in the gap for extra base hits? If you strike out, we don't care. An out's an out. Like that's the way they think about it. And like, if you really look at the squad, like that's kind of the squad they built of like, hey, we don't care if you hit 220, 250, like your job is to hit the ball out of the yard. And that's why they rank, I think it's top 5 or top 7 in, I think it's top 5 in runs by the home run. They're really up there in that stat. Atlanta's number 1, but Atlanta also has 6 guys with 20 plus homers.
Atlanta's a different beast.
Yeah, they're in their own league, but yeah, the Angels are up there in that category, and that's not usually a good category because those teams don't typically win the World Series. Those are the teams that typically struggle in the postseason. We've seen it. The Yankees have struggled with that. Even the Dodgers, when they've gotten really hot, they've struggled with that as well. And you can't rely on the home run ball once you get in and you're facing the best of the best. I think the Twins were one of the top teams in home runs a couple years back. They didn't win a playoff game. So
here's the leaders in home runs this year. Not to like kind of go around what you're saying here because we don't have too much more time. But Atlanta's first, the Dodgers are second, the Rays are third, Angels are fourth, the Yankees are fifth, Minnesota's sixth, Texas is 7, St. Louis is 8th, Houston's 9th, Seattle's 10. So what is that? 7 of the 10 teams that lead in home runs are playoff teams. Angels, yes. Yankees, and St. Louis. So I'm fine with the home run ball, but like it's a very streaky approach to have, in my opinion.
It is. And not just the home runs. Like it's not the home runs I was talking about. It's like how many of their runs come by the home runs. Like just because you hit a bunch of home runs doesn't mean that's all your runs. Like the Dodgers score a lot of runs no matter what.
Yes.
Atlanta's been scoring a lot of runs, but it feels like a lot of them are via the home run. So yeah, it's interesting. You take a look at this and you, I think the biggest thing that's frustrating to look at is the way that we went about the pitching that we acquired and the way we went about the defense that we acquired. I think that's the one head scratcher to me is like, you have Shohei Ohtani who strikes guys out. But after that, it was a bunch of contact guys, and you didn't have the best defense in the world. We didn't have a true shortstop. We didn't have a true second baseman. You could argue we didn't even really have a true first baseman.
Didn't have a true catcher at the time either.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, Ohapi made the squad and things like that, and it made it a little bit easier. But I mean, he's a young kid who hasn't really done too much in the bigs. So yeah, that's kind of the thing that's been interesting to me is it's like those two have got to match up, in my opinion. If you're going to get a bunch of home runs and not be the best fielding team, then you better get a bunch of dudes that throw super hard and strike a lot of guys out. But they didn't do that, and that's why we're in the situation we are, where we're getting swept by Oakland in Oakland. So
yeah, and again, an embarrassment. That's the best thing to say. But at the end of the day, I wanted to shed a little bit of light on a positive thing. Kyren Paris, friend of the show, can just congratulations on making the debut there. Nate, one last thing before we let everybody go here. God, I hate saying this. Tucker Davidson is out. Andrew Velasquez got sent down. Who's the next guy you want to see? Since now you're getting your way, it seems like. Is Perry listening to this podcast? Just kidding. He's definitely not.
Yeah, because his name might be next, honestly.
Oh man.
No, we'll go Phil. Yeah, Phil Nevin's time is gone. It's over with. Like, it was a cool experiment. It's fine, but like, Phil, it's time. You got swept by Oakland.
I don't know if I can necessarily take that as an answer, because technically he's done after this year anyways. But if you're saying that he's gone before the season ends, okay, like that's a bold prediction.
Could you imagine if they just
I'm
got swept by Oakland? You know what? We're done.
I'm actually kind of scrolling Twitter here to see, like, just want to make sure like that nothing actually has happened, because you're not totally wrong. Like, that wouldn't surprise me. It's like, wow, you just got swept by Oakland. Like, let's place blame on somebody instead of Perry. So we can get to that another time. Like, it's fine. Honestly, I just wanted to bring the positivity here a little bit. Kyren Paris, and all that stuff. We will be back after this next series, unless Phil Nevin gets fired. Then you'll probably hear from us sooner than that.
All right, I'll give you a real guy. All right, Jaime Barria's time is done.
Okay, that's fine.
There's your real answer, Jaime Barria. It's his time. His time's done.
Let me just actually make sure that Phil Nevin's not gone yet. Hold on. Okay, we're good.
It's not official. It's not official yet.
So with all that being said, guys, again, thank you for listening to this podcast and watching this podcast. Drop it in the comments down below who you want to see gone next. I guess that's what we're doing now. I guess that's the new thing. Who's gone next? I guess if you're right, I'll find something to send your way. I'll figure something out. I got a bunch of autographs sitting back in.
Oh man.
So guys, again, thank you so much for listening and watching this podcast. You can go ahead and follow us on all our social medias, Twitter, X, Instagram, and Facebook. Follow myself on X at Jared_Tims, Nate at NateGreen34. Guys, thank you so much for listening and watching. Have a great rest of your day.